Hi there. I'm not wrong, but we can both be right. Let me show you how. Okay, so this is the article from the link you posted, right? It says only 2 of the foreign military sales to Israel have been made public since the start of the conflict. And you should ask yourself why there's only been 2 made public. But here we go. 2 have been made public, and those sales invited public scrutiny because the Biden administration, as I said, bypassed Congress to approve the packages by invoking an emergency authority, right? But hold on, because the paragraph right beneath this, hold on. But in the case of the other 100 transactions, 100 other transactions known in government speak as foreign military sales, FMS, the weapon transfers were processed without any public debate because each fell under a specific dollar amount that requires the executive branch to individually notify Congress, which is what I said. That's why I gave the example. You tell your kid to stay under $20 and they stay within that dollar amount. So this is where I'm right. And again, ask yourself why there have been headlines about 2 transactions out of 102. Because it sounds sexy to bypass Congress, even though this is some shit that happens all the time, especially when emergency declarations are made. And when an emergency declaration is made, don't quote me on this because I have not looked it up to verify, but I'm pretty sure that when an emergency declaration is made, then the secretary that's head of the branch that's dealing with that emergency doesn't have the president micromanaging over their shoulder. They can just do whatever they want to do. Because when a president chooses someone for their cabinet, what they do is pick people who they don't have to micromanage. They pick people whose judgment they trust in these important situations because they're not going to be able to make the call every single day, every single time on every single issue. That's why they have a cabinet. Now let's answer the questions for the people who are like, well, if Biden doesn't have power, why are y'all so scared about Trump having power? Because of these emergency declarations. The president does have the power to declare an emergency and do whatever the fuck he wants. Trump has declared fake emergencies in the past to enact these emergency situations and allow for certain things, i.e. the Muslim ban was made from an emergency declaration. Additionally, Mango Mussolini is going to put all kind of sycophants in his administration and in his cabinet that are just going to do whatever the hell he tells them to do, irrespective of whether it's legal, of whether it violates people's constitutional rights, because they know if it is a violation of our constitutional rights, we have to go through the system to fix it. But they can enact some shit up on us that is unfair. And until it travels through the system and may happen to be decided by the Supreme Court of the United States, we are stuck like Chuck. And also, the Supreme Court that we have will kowtow to his will. So that is why Trump is dangerous in the executive office, because he does not follow the rules, he abuses his powers, and he will have all of us in internment camps if we are not straight white males, okay? And let's go back to this article for a second and read this part, because I like to read the whole article when I be reading articles. So it says, State Department spokesperson Matt Miller said the Biden administration has followed the procedures Congress itself has specified to keep members well informed and regularly briefs members even when formal notification is not a legal requirement, which adds gravitas to my saying that the majority of our Congress is in support of what the administration is doing. Read this part. U.S. officials have engaged Congress on arms transfers more than 200 times. More than 200. So it's more than 200. But y'all are fussing about 2 that were made public, because it sounds sexy for the headline to say the Biden administration bypassed Congress. Because people who don't know how the system works and people who don't understand the machinations of our everyday governing think that that's a big deal. But it's really not. It's just fucking bureaucratic red tape. Now let's look at this part. U.S. officials have warned the Israeli government against waging an offensive in Rafah without a plan to evacuate civilians. But some Democrats worry that Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu will disregard Washington's pleas as he has other U.S. demands, which shows you that the Biden administration is actually working on behalf of the innocent civilians that are being affected in Palestine. Do you think a GOP administration is going to do that? I can answer that with surety. Hell no, they're not. They're going to say level the place because we don't care. So this is what I'm saying. Y'all have to know where to point your anger. You have to understand how the system works. And you have to know when these media organizations are playing in your fucking face. And with all these clickbaity, dangly carrot titles of these articles talking about Biden administration bypasses Congress, they knew that shit sounded sexy to the people who are mad at Biden, and they wanted to give you more fuel for your fire. But it is not what you think it is. They're playing in your fucking face, sweetheart. Here's more proof. They're playing in your fucking face. Republicans have largely opposed efforts to rein in U.S. arms provisions to Israel. So the GOP side doesn't even want to put a limitation on how many arms we send to Israel. At least the Biden administration is still following the rules. We have seen from 2017 to 2021 that the Trump administration does not have a respect for the rules. These people are going to destroy our government and our country very swiftly if they retain power and they gain more power in November of 2024, which is why I am very adamant about getting a strategy to destroy them, because all they want to do is destroy our freedoms. So we have to stand in their way. Nobody else is coming to do it. No constitution, no rule book, none of that is going to help us when we have a madman in office who wants to do whatever the hell he wants to do against anybody that opposes him, baby. So we have to be grown-ups right now, and we have to strategize, and we have to do hard things. So yeah, I wasn't wrong. And if this were a test, it's like a 98. I got a 98 because I left 2 questions blank. So that's not necessarily being wrong, but you were right to point that out so that I could also show you how there have been hundreds of these transactions, but the media has only told you about 2 that fell under an emergency declaration because they knew they could make the headline sound sexy enough to make people who are mad at Biden get all razzled, right? And have another talking point and have another reason to argue on social media. Yeah. So yeah, thanks for your engagement, but I wasn't wrong. Okay. Bye.